All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about writing better lyrics. I'm going to give you some of my favorite strategies, three in particular, to help you write better lyrics. But just off the bat, you might happen to be one of those virtuosos who's truly like a poet. Like you just have your way with words and they just flow naturally. I have met a few of you. You're rare birds and you are lucky. Like I wish I could write like you. This video is probably not going to be that helpful for you. I created this video and I wanted to make sure that we covered this in this course for the rest of us that love making music, love creating songs. We know we need lyrics and we want them to be good, but that's like the part of the process where we like literally lose sleep or like drag it out entirely because we're like, are these any good? Yeah, that's for people like you. And that's me. I'm a musician first, lyric writer second. So I felt like this would be a helpful video because can speak from experience. I've been writing songs for over 20 years and they were awful 20 years ago. Like I'm a teenager, I'm 15-year-old kid writing songs. They were horrible. They were horrible in college and they were starting to get better post college. And I've started to develop a framework that really works for me. But even then, we hit roadblocks and I'll get to that in a second. But let's break down my three favorite strategies for writing lyrics. I'm going to do it and walk through one of the actual songs on this EP. Step number one is to actually start with the melody in place. So let's say you're like me and you like to write on guitar and you got some chords. Before you write lyrics, before you think of a lyrical phrase, craft a melody, right? Make up words, sing oohs if you need to, but just focus on crafting a melody as if it's another musical part, as if you're writing a musical lead part for a violin or a piano. Like the vocal melody is a musical part that needs to fit, not only fit in the music, but like be so catchy, to be so memorable. Anybody can write lyrics in that one sense. Like the difference between a lyric in a song and a poem is that there's music attached to the lyric in the song. That melody gives that lyric power to stick in your heads. As a Christian, this is why a lot of times you see Christian parents trying to help their kids be able to remember the Bible and study Bible verses and Bible memory. Remembering anything, whether it's dates in history or a Bible verse, is almost impossible. But if you attach it to a song, these kids will remember anything. It's incredible. It's like their minds explode because they remember the melody and then they can sing back the song in their head and then the words come out and then that's how they get the words out. It like brings the words back out. They're in there, but the words come out because the melody unlocks them. So to me, the melody is far more important than the words. And the words need to be important, but without the melody, it's pointless. So start with the melody. And then the other reason why you start with a melody is that the melody, once it's crafted and it's so tasty and so catchy, and you're already humming it, even though there's no words, that melody will create a structure that you need to fit the lyrics in, which is actually a helpful tool, not a hindrance. It's not a burden like, oh crap, now how am I going to fit these words in this predefined melody? It actually helps you eliminate a lot of words or phrases or timing things that just wouldn't work. You can't even entertain them as an option because they don't fit within the melody. So it actually makes you focus. And as you get to the thing of what you want to say, which we'll get to in a second, you have to simplify what you want to say by focusing it into that melody. It has to fit, has to squeeze into the melody. So I find that a melody, the limitation of a pre-written melody, is a wonderfully liberating thing, which might sound ironic, but that's how I write all my songs. So in this process with Ivan, we're writing the songs together. As you saw, we're creating stuff. We'll start with a tempo or a drum beat, or he'll lay down a little synth pad, or I'll grab my bass, or we just were starting to create music. And as the music was coming together, we started to grab a microphone, right? Ivan always has a microphone plugged in. We'd step up to the microphone, hit record, and even without headphones, just the bleed of the monitors, just start to sing melodies and try out melodies in the hook, in the verse. And then we would refine the melodies. And then once we feel like we had a cool melody, we would record it again and we just make up gibberish. My daughters love listening to the gibberish versions of these tracks. I came back from the studio session where we wrote these songs together, at least the music, and I played them all for my daughters so they could hear like a taste of what we were working on. And my daughters kept saying, what what are you saying in those lyrics? And I'm like, they're not lyrics yet. It's just made up words. And I've gotten really good at singing gibberish. Ivan's really good at singing gibberish without overthinking it. It is awkward at first, but it's a skill worth developing because you're focusing on the melody. So I know that's not a lyrical tip, but it actually is because it helps you write better lyrics. Start with a very well defined melody before you write a single word. So in the case of this song, Myth of You, when we got to the hook of the song, we knew we wanted to go like this. Ooh, something, 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 son. That's all we had. Ooh, something, 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 son. And literally that's what I recorded in the studio with Ivan. Something, 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 yeah. But it captured what we were doing that day, where I like that the syncopation, sa na 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 na, and in that cadence of something, 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 yeah, that emphasis on the first syllable. I just wanted to capture that vibe. It fit with the music. Same thing with the verses, but let's take that hook. That's what I captured. That was the predefined melody. This leads me to step number 2, which is start with a title or a phrase. You gotta know what you want the song to be about. And you may not know initially. We didn't know these songs. We just liked the music. We were just having fun. And then even with the melodies, we're just locking in the melodies because they sound cool and they're catchy and they're memorable and they make us bob our heads and dance. That's so important. But now, okay, while we have the vibe working, we have a sense of how the song feels. In the case of this song, it's very bouncy and poppy and dreamy, and it reminds me of a road trip song. Like, it's a song that I can picture myself driving down Highway 1 on the West Coast in California or Oregon, and the cliffs are there, and I'm in like a convertible. I've done this, by the way. I've done the whole coast in a convertible, just a side story. And I picture myself just happy, and my wife's over there, and she's smiling, and we're just happy and driving down the coast of California. That's what I picture when I picture this song musically. So now I started to think about what do I want the song to be about? And to me, I wanted to write a love song, a happy love song. It just kind of felt like that's what this song could be about. And so it's not gonna be a sad ballad or a sad love song. It's gotta be poppy, it's gotta be happy. And so I liked the vocal melody of the ba da na 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 na. I wanted to say I'm falling. I want to say like I'm falling for you. I'm falling for blah 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 blah. So I couldn't just say I'm falling for you. Otherwise, it'd have to sound like I'm falling for you, which is stupid. So I was trying to think of what is a cool phrase that's unique, that would fit what it would fit a love song that would be a different kind of happy love song. And the idea came to me, what if, when there's someone that you love or that you're attracted to or you're pursuing, you're dating, or you just met and you've heard a lot about this person, and there's the reality of the person, which is, and I wrote this about my wife, so hopefully if she's watching, she doesn't take this the wrong way. There's the reality of the person, which is hopefully a really good reality. Otherwise, why pursue that person, especially if you're going to get married, right? The person's got to be quality, and my wife's quality. But there's this aura around the person, the stories that you build up about her or him, or the version of him or her that you see only when you're dating. You don't get to see like the part when you're married and living together. And so there's like only the good. And when you talk to other people about him or her, or they talk about him or her, like the legend of this person expands and grows, and they're so cool. But at the end of the day, people are people, and we're all flawed people. And when you get married, you figure that out, but you love the person anyway, and in spite of their flaws. And I know my wife loves me in spite of my flaws, but I thought, wouldn't it be a cool phrase to say, I'm falling for the myth of you? Because myths can be based out of reality, right? There could be a real story that happened, and then there's a legend or a myth that builds over time. So it could be like it's gotten bigger than it was. But myth could also be just the overall story of you, and it's not just, I'm not just falling for you, but I also falling for the myth of you. Like I'll love you no matter what, but I love like the version of you that I've even created in my own head. Maybe you're not even putting off this vibe. It's just me. I've built you up in my head, and I'm just falling for that. And to me, I thought that was an interesting phrase and an interesting thought. And it fit with my melody, going back to step one. I'm falling for the myth of you. Perfect syllables. It fits where I want it to fit. I don't have to rush anything or slow anything down or make it feel awkward. It fits. So by coming up with that title, coming up with that phrase in the hook, and that doesn't have to be the title of your song necessarily, but it could be a phrase, and it could be in the verse as well. It doesn't have to be you start with the hook, although that's a great way to start. For me, now I know what the verses are going to be about. The verses are going to be about how this person's so awesome and be almost a little over the top, a little tongue in cheek, a little poetic, because I'm just smitten with her. And I'm falling for this myth of her. And of course, I'm using you because I'm speaking to you. And then also, I'm using you so that it can be male or female. And it can be a song that I'm putting words that you can use, as the listener and the fans and the audience. So that's a little bonus tip for you is it's not about her, it's about you. And that way the song has more universal appeal. All right, so now that you have the melody locked down, you've got the title or the interesting phrase that you want to build this song off of. Now you have something to work with to write the rest of the song. You have that central thing to come back to, which is the theme or the phrase or the hook or the title of the song even. And in this case, I'm falling for the myth of you. Now I'm going to write the rest of the song based around that. So when I go to the verses, I want to do the third and final step, which comes from a really great quote from John Lennon of the Beatles fame. And he said this: when it comes to songwriting, tell the truth and make it rhyme. Tell the truth and make it rhyme. And this is something that has taken me a long time to learn because I never cared about lyrics meaning much when I was younger, right? I just wanted them to sound cool. Maybe you can identify with that. And so I loved melodies and I loved words that fit in those melodies. So I kind of had step one. And so my melodies were always cool. I always had a good knack for writing melodies, but my words never meant anything. And people would ask me, what does that song mean? And I was like, I don't really know because I'm just literally making up words. And that's not good enough for two reasons. One, if someone's going to ask you, what is this song about? And if you don't really know and you don't have a quick answer, that just makes you look dumb. But two, if your songs can tell the truth and actually mean something to you, other people can find meaning in them as well. There is a chance that you could write gibberish and someone could find meaning out of it, but there is a better chance that they'll find meaning out of it if there actually is meaning in it for you. It may not be the same interpretation. It may not have the same meaning. Songs can have different meanings to different people depending on who they are, their background, the season of life they're walking through. I mean, you can identify with a song in one season of your life and it can mean something to you then. And then in another season of your life, it can mean something totally different to you. So songs are mysterious, magical things where they can have different meanings to different people, but they need to have meaning. And the best way to have meaning is to tell the truth. And what John Lennon means is to write about something that's real, that people can identify with, that's universal. And so this tell the truth and make it rhyme, it really sums up what songwriting's all about. It's about connecting with other humans, but it just happens to rhyme because it's a song. Whereas I could write an essay and it's telling the truth, but it doesn't rhyme. A song needs to rhyme. So with that being said, when I go back to the verses, in this case, I got the lyrics pulled up here. I'm going to write the song about I'm falling for the myth of you. So I open lyric one with, I could search nearly every day and never find someone so divine. Okay. Again, I'm using the melody. The predetermined melody in the verses is na 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 na. I had that melody locked in, so I needed to fit some lyrics to that, and this fit. I could search nearly every day and never find someone so divine. That one lyric sums up where the song is going. And I love opening lyrics that do that either sum up where the song is going or are provocative. I could search every day and never find someone that's as wonderful, as divine as you. Again, I'm using divine, which is strong language, right? Usually you ascribe divinity to God or some higher power or some king. And so I'm using strong language because, again, I'm falling for the myth of you. I've built you up in my mind. So I'm going to use strong language because that fits with the theme of the song. Lyric 2, voice like a breeze and a face like the sun. Just the thought of you blows my mind. Again, I'm just being flowery and descriptive because this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek song, But I'm telling the truth. Just thinking of you blows my mind. That's how awesome you are. Tell me more. Tell me more. I believe every story that you confide, right? I believe everything you tell me, and I want to hear more, right? So you can tell this person is smitten. I'm caught in a dream and don't want to wake up because I can see you every night. The dream language tells you the story again that like it's almost like a dream. And again, when you get to the hook, you kind of get it all put together because I'm falling for the myth of you. So I don't want to wake up from this dream. I like the dream version of you. Okay. So again, I'm using the tell the truth and make it rhyme thought to just, instead of talking around the subject, be somewhat direct. Like say something that someone could identify with and go, oh, yeah, I felt that way about somebody before, or I want someone to feel that way about me. You don't have to be super direct, and this is something that Ivan really helped me with because again, he trusted me to write the lyrics to these songs. That's part of the way our collaboration works. But I'll write lyrics, I'll record them, I'll send them over. What do you think? And at times with other songs, and even in this song, he felt there were certain lyrics I had that were a little too direct, and it's like, whoa, that almost takes me out of the song because it's like, are you just telling me too many facts that are a little too detailed? So he wanted me to be a little more indirect at times, but we still needed to tell the truth. So he helped me kind of find that sweet spot. And then again, the pre-chorus, the vision fades a little. Because again, I just mentioned being in a dream. It fades a little, but I can't look away. Just let me dream a little more and I'll be okay. Coming back to reality, you're not quite as divine. It's not this romance I've made up in my mind. It's fading a little bit, but I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop looking away, looking at this vision. Just let me dream a little bit more. Let me stay in this headspace of falling for the myth of you. And that's where we get to the hook. And so you sort of see how my thought process went with this song in particular. We started with the vocal melody. We came up with the title or phrase and locked that down. And from there, I went back to the verses and just started to try to follow John Lennon's advice as best as I can because he's a freaking genius. Tell the truth and make it rhyme. So if you find yourself just making up stuff, ask yourself every line of the song, what does this say? Is this line saying anything? And does it help tell the whole story of the song, or does it help support the main theme of the song or the hook or the title of the song? If it doesn't, it's a throwaway line, use something else. Now, just to give you a counter example, this is not one of the songs that we wrote together for this EP, but a song that Ivan and I wrote a few months ago. We just did a single. It was called Thief. And this song, the title is nowhere in the hook, okay? It's not as straightforward as I'm falling for the myth of you, and I call the song Myth of You. This song was more of a character story about a person in the Bible named Jacob, who has this incredible moment in the book of Genesis where he literally has this vision at night and he's wrestling with God. He's wrestling with a man in the desert at night and he doesn't realize that it's God until later. And Jacob's name means a thief or a deceiver, or he takes the heel. So it's like I'm pulling you out from under the rug out from under you. And so I wanted to write a song about this character and about this story. And that's where the idea was in my head. And I didn't have the name Thief yet, but I had the idea. I had the idea, and the idea in the hook was I've taken freedom when it's already won. I steal the spotlight away from the sun. I know that I take for granted all that you've ever done, but you give anyway. Yes, you give anyway. So the song is actually about God's generosity and grace and kindness to Jacob, even though Jacob is a deceiver and a thief. And so those words, that was a more wordy hook than the same line, I'm falling for the myth of you. Lots of words there, but it fit the melody that I had in that chorus, and it fit the way that chorus, it was a longer chorus. And I knew what it was about. It was about this character, Jacob. And so I just tried to fill in all the cracks, telling the truth and making it rhyme, all to support the idea of this character, of this story. So in the verses, I open up the song again with a provocative line. I want to see what you're made of. I need to know you're for real. I'll strive with you till the day breaks. I need to know how it feels. And this is exactly what happens in the book of Genesis, where Jacob is literally, he wants to see if God is legit. And he literally wrestles with this vision of God in person. And it's this crazy, weird story. And so that opening line of, I want to see what you're made of, just makes me want to keep leaning in. So going back to that bonus step of have a great lean in line of your song and a provocative statement at the beginning, it makes the listeners want to tune in to the rest of the song. So don't waste that opening opportunity. I don't say the word thief until verse 2. I'm just a thief in the moonlight. And that's where the title comes from. I decided that thief describes the whole song, shorter than like what all the long lyrics are in the chorus. But I wanted to give that as a contrasting example because sometimes the hook is really, really long and it's not as short and sweet as the song Myth of You. But the idea is still there. Know what the theme is, know what you're trying to write about. And if you can lock down a phrase, it makes the songwriting process easier, but it doesn't always come out that way. So quickly in review, my friend, always start with the vocal melody, lock down, have it so tight and so catchy before you write a single word. 2, come up with a title or a phrase that the song's going to be about and that you can sing in the hook or sing in the verse, or that you want to at least call the song that name, that you know then where you're going with the song. Have a point to your song. And then 3, tell the truth and make it rhyme. Don't talk around things. Don't be too metaphorical that you don't even know what it's about. Let it be obvious enough that people know what you're talking about. You don't have to be super direct, but say something that connects with a human. Your songs will have more appeal. They won't be watered down. They will connect. That's the point of telling the truth, is you want to connect with a human. They will really, really enjoy your songs more when you do that. Hey friend, this is Graham here from recordingrevolution.com.
And this is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com.
And we want to tell you about something super, super rad that we're doing. We love working on music together. We did a couple singles together and we decided, hey, selfishly, let's make a whole EP together.
Yeah.
And then we thought about like documenting it.
Yeah.
So you could see the whole process. Then we wanted to take it a step further. We like, wait, we can't just document this. Let's teach you how we actually create EPs step by step by step. And we want to bring you into that process.
Yeah, so we want to invite you into the whole process of creating an EP, and not just creating it, but we also want to walk you through what happens when you're done with that EP. How do you get it out into the world, and how do you actually build traction with the music that you've created?
So from no song idea to polishing up a final master to releasing it digitally to get it on Spotify and all the other platforms to getting your first 1,000 streams online, this program is going to walk you through our step-by-step process. So if you're a singer-songwriter or in a band and you just want that little push or kick in the butt to actually release some new music this year and actually get some traction with it, then this program is for you. Just hit the link below this video to sign up for the waitlist so you get first dibs and first access to when this course drops. We can't wait to bring you into the studio and show you our process.
Super excited. We'll see you there.